tonight. Well, we don't Pastor Dennis Brunson sitting next to me is going to do our invocation. Please stand for invocation. Remain standing. Pledge allegiance.
May we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this tonight, God. First of all, to tell you thank you for this wonderful, wonderful day. We pray now, God, as we prepare to deliberate over these matters. Pray, God, that you would give us kind hearts, sharing hearts. God, help us to be temperate. And God, we pray that we honor you in everything that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have towards our agenda for this evening. In addition to the agenda, if not, ask for motion to approve. Second. All in favor, aye. And the special presentations, there is none. On the special presentation, we have a list here. First of all, I'd like to make a few statements. I'd like for everyone to know how we got where we are tonight. Be nice, please. Please be patient. Please be nice. The IDA vets.
We can't hear in the back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. When a company comes to a county, it doesn't matter where it's at, be it Decatur County, Seminole County, or Timbuktu in Washington State. They go through the IDA first. The IDA is responsible for vetting all companies and the personnel. Again, please be patient. Please be nice.
Y'all let him speak.
Yes. With that being said, when this is brought to us now, you have to. I told someone this yesterday afternoon. They kind of said what I was trying to say. If you want to buy a house in Tallahassee, Florida, and you could buy it for half value, would you want the rest of the people in Tallahassee to know that? No, because somebody else will cut you down. So any business comes to any county, anywhere, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to even talk to them. I think I was told about this in November the 7th, is that correct? And I had to sign a non-disclosure. Well, non-disclosure ties me to where I cannot discuss it with anyone, not even my wife or my dog. And that's true with everybody. As you brought into the fold of anything, you have to agree to this signing this document. So that doesn't mean that you know what the company business is. It just knows that you got a business looking at you want to come. So the meeting that we had on December 11th was supposed to have been taken in November, if I remember correctly. And something came up, I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was. Something came up, we could not have, I think somebody's going to be out of town. But we could not have the meeting at that time, so we put it off to December the 11th. And that's when everybody found out what it was about, not a day before. Now, do I like that? No. No, I do not like that. I think every citizen in every county in the United States should know what's happening in their county. But that is the nature of the beast. I don't agree with it, as I just said, but it is what you have to do. And that's why there's so much misinformation, let's say, about anything you do like this. People take, we've been accused of bribes, we've been accused of taking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's why we can't discuss any business coming in.
I hope that you are recording this, or somebody is,
so we can play up.
Sir, it's being taped by two radio stations, Post-Searchlight and another link was taken. Yes, it is. Now I'd like to read a statement, please. I know there are a lot of you here to speak regarding the Safer Human Medicine Project, and we are interested to hear everybody. Please, when the floor is open for your public comments, come forward, come to the mic, one at a time, identify yourself, place your state of residence, and define or let us know what organization you're representing, if so. Please know that there is a 5-minute rule for each comment participant. Your questions and concerns and comments are very important and will be considered in any future discussions of this board. I have regarding the Safer Human Medicine Project. If your point or question has already been addressed, please respect your fellow person, your fellow man, by not repeating the question or the concern. There are a couple of other matters that I think everyone in here would be very interested in. It may even affect the way you want to address this board or address your concern. Because we are committed, this body, we're committed to follow the law in all procedures. We ask our attorney I'll get there. That's too cool. We asked our attorney to check on the December the 11th, 2023 and take a closer look at it and be sure everything was proper. We have come to understand and to realize that a joint meeting of the Board of Commissioners participated on December 11, 2023 to consider a project agreement and a pilot agreement, both related to Safer Human Medicine project, was not properly noticed or posted as a meeting of the Board of Commissioners. We have believed until yesterday that the meeting had been properly noticed and posted, and those who requested our presence at the meeting, again, let me repeat that. We were asked to be in a meeting, and we assumed that the people that asked us to be in a meeting had posted it and recorded it. That did not happen. We take the responsibility of that. We're not trying to hide. We take responsibility of not posting and noting of our meeting. Because the meeting was not properly noticed and posted, we have been advised that action taken by this Board of Commissioners at that meeting, including the vote to approve then and to subsequently signing the project agreement and the pilot agreement, are not binding and therefore are not legal. Please note that the Board of Commissioners will place upon the request of the Development Authority or Bainbridge in the city of Decatur County or the city of Bainbridge or Safer Human Medicine Incorporation back on the agenda. At this point, however, neither the proposed pilot agreement nor the proposed project agreement are approved by your Board of Commissioners.
Praise the Lord. We
have been advised We have reported this to the City of Bainbridge, the Development Authority of Bainbridge, Decatur County, Decatur County School District, Decatur County Tax Commissioner, and Decatur County Board of Assessors on our position with regard to the pilot agreement and the project agreement. Thank you for your attention. Now we will proceed with the people that like to address the commission. We welcome every one of you. Again, if you will, come to the podium, state your name, your address, and what company you represent. Now, we will give you a 30-second warning when you're speaking, and you have 5 minutes. On Amy Meyer. Yes.
All right, thank you so much for having me today. I want to start by thanking y'all for looking into this and recognizing that there was violations of the Open Meetings Act in this regard. I want to also encourage you, though, not to stop here and to take every action possible to challenge the validity of the bond, because...
If you would, please say your name and your...
Oh, I'm so sorry. My name's Amy Meyer, and I'm representing PETA as their manager of primate experimentation campaigns, and I live in Oregon. So again, thank you for this, but I hope that you will keep pushing the validity of the bonds and encouraging the city and the development authority to follow in your footsteps as well. And I want to continue to speak on why I hope you will do this. I understand the importance for the city and the county to be investing in good, high-quality, high-paying jobs for your community. But I fear that Safer Human Medicine has misled the city and county, and that this monkey farm would be dangerous, cruel, and more irrelevant than they may have led you to believe. Laboratories and the monkey warehouses that supply them, even the ones that have been established for decades, are struggling to fill these jobs because nobody wants these jobs. It's dirty, hazardous, and soul-breaking work. Since I started advocating for animals in laboratories a few years ago, I've had so many former laboratory workers reach out to me to share their stories. People like Maddie, a close friend of mine now, who was an animal technician at one of the largest monkey experimenting and breeding facilities in the country. She went into that job as a 19-year-old, rosy-eyed, wanting to work in primate conservation works, and was told this is how you can get started, working with monkeys. But all she got out of it, after it's been 12 years now, and she still suffers with PTSD from her time there. Hearing the haunting screams from female monkeys put into a cage with males for breeding, witnessing a newborn monkey with his little hands wrapped around her finger have a seizure and die in her hands, and realizing that none of the monkeys that she cared for would ever have a normal life of their own, nearly broke her. And I've heard so many stories like this, and it's stories that nobody here wants for themselves or for their children to experience. And contrary to some of the media reports I read saying these would be jobs paying more than $60,000 a year, when we got the records from the city and county and looked at the presentation, jobs like Maddie's position as animal technicians would be making less than $38,000 a year for this heartbreaking work. Now, this proposal is on a scale never before seen in the United States, but it's not the first of its kind. There's an Envigo monkey operation in Alice, Texas, and they've been struggling to contain their wastewater, and they have had several violations of federal animal welfare laws and regulations. There's not even many companies that are allowed to import monkeys into this country, like Safer Human Medicine would need to do. But the ones that do largely have ownership over the monkeys overseas still, with these monkey farms in Asia and Africa. And it leads PETA to question how Safer Human Medicine even plans to get its hands on enough monkeys to set up a breeding colony for 30,000 monkeys here. Are they planning to start importing from China, which has stopped imports since the beginning of the pandemic? Are they going to just be getting the sickly monkeys at the bottom of the barrel that these other established importers don't even want? Do they really have enough investment as a startup company that was incorporated less than a year ago to be spending years before they'll be able to even sell off these baby monkeys? They won't be able to sell these monkeys until they've had enough time for breeding and raising them to an age that they are safe to transport. I know that you're looking out for the future of your community, but experimenting on monkeys is soon squarely going to be in the past.
I'm sorry, you got 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. The kind of monkey that they plan to be bringing here, the long-tailed macaque, was classified as endangered by the IUCN in July 2022, and there is currently a petition to get them listed under the Endangered Species Act. So you're gambling on an investment with an industry that is phasing out, not ramping up, and I hope that for your concerned residents here and for the future of Bainbridge, and of course for the monkeys, that you do everything in your authority to stop this monkey factory farm from moving into Bainbridge. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We have Gordon Rogers. Welcome, Mr. Rogers.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
My name is Gordon Rogers. I am the River Keeper and Executive Director at Flint River Keeper. We're headquartered in Albany. I live at 190 Buster Road near Reynolds, Georgia, in Taylor County. At Flint River Keeper, we work from up around the airport in Atlanta all the way to Florida line on water issues. And I'm here tonight to address that as well as a couple of other things. This is very welcome news that y'all have an opportunity to hit the pause button, and I applaud the legal work that you've done, sir, to help keep them between the white lines. Hitting the pause button is an opportunity that's not given a lot of us in our lives, and I see it as the grace of God, frankly. May I approach and give you a handout? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is a list of questions. Don't be alarmed. I'm not going to ask any of them. I just want you to read them. It's about 19 items, and when you add them all up, it's about 50 questions. I invite you to read them later and discuss them with one another and with your attorney. In my opinion, unless you can get good answers, good satisfactory answers to all of these questions, you need to keep your finger on the pause button. And there's other reasons to do it too, probably, but this is just our opinion that these are important questions. It doesn't mean that these are all of the important questions, but these are the ones that we could come up with over the last week or so. And I was very careful to consult with attorneys and political experts, lobbyists, to make sure that I was covering our bases, but it doesn't mean that it's complete. Flint River Keepers issues are woven through this. Our issues are water issues. We're concerned about four basic things. One is sewage treatment capacity and the appropriateness of that sewage treatment, particularly for viruses. Killing viruses is a whole lot harder than taking nitrogen or phosphorus out of a wastewater stream. It's a whole lot more expensive. And that's related to whether there would be pre-treatment coming out of that plant versus the treatment occurring at the Decatur County plant. So those technical details are extremely important. The stormwater coming off of this facility in terms of rooftops, pavements, whether or not there's monkeys outside at times for any sort of quasi-free range or foraging that's been mentioned by the developer, and what happens to that runoff, whether it's captured and run through the wastewater treatment system or is it just running off into a ditch in the river. Normal stormwater techniques are not appropriate in a situation like this. And then related to all of that, what happens in a major storm, and is this in a flood zone? What happened in 1994 on this site? What happened in 1998 on this site? And what happens when the power goes out for 3 to 4 weeks or 5 weeks, like it can do here in the South? Happened relatively recently with Hurricane Michael all through the Panhandle in southwest Georgia. So these are really important questions to be answered from a water perspective. And we'll be watching this very closely through that lens. I also encourage y'all to do what you've already exhibited here, which is continue with a good government, transparent approach. Some of what was done earlier had the appearance of some excellent hide the ball and some excellent hurry up offense. And while I admire that in my football teams, I don't admire that in government. I have now been a riverkeeper for 19 years, first for the Satilla and now for the Flint.
30 seconds.
Thank you. I'm very proud of everything I've done every one of those days. And I was proud of the work I did before that in the waste industry and before that working for DNR, 9 years and 10 years each. And I think that y'all, each of you, want to be proud of everything you do every day also. And I encourage you to continue on that path. Thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, what you want to speak to?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
James Meredith.
Meredith?
Did you sign in earlier? No, I just got in. I got here.
You did not sign in?
I signed in at the front.
Would anybody that signed up and registered, mind this gentleman go to the head, so, or he's stand on the truck? If you will come forward, sir, and put your name and address.
How are you? My name is James Meredith. I live at 200 Andrea Avenue, Bainbridge, Georgia. And mainly the reason I'm here is I was called tonight. I have not been advised of any of this is going on. But I have been involved. I ran for commissioner. I know y'all remember that. I didn't win. I got 40-some-odd% in a county. I have this gentleman's county right here. We had a good election. I lost. But my concern is I want to ask you, are y'all willing for us to, through the FOIA Act, get the information of your discussions and all of that to where we can know whether the truth is being told to us or not? Because as you know, sometimes a little bit gets left out.
We're not going to answer any questions tonight. We're here to listen and take every concern to heart.
Okay, then. As you know, you're retiring soon. I just think you're going to retire before the next election, aren't you, sir? Once you've got enough for...
I think I've heard you enough.
That's what I thought, sir. So
It's the most.
the taxpayers will have to foot this bill. And even Judge Cato made the statement that we will never recollect the monies that we spent on the gun deal. And the gun deal's not a bad deal as far as working people. But we as citizens are paying for that, I guess, for the rest of our lives. And I think all of you know that. But we want to be able to know on the out front. I understand from hearsay that we are paying, giving them the land, giving it to them rent-free. It's theirs. And afterwards, they don't have to pay taxes on it for 10 years, and it reduces every year after that. How do you get a return on something like that? Ask yourselves that. And I've been told that all of you voted for this and agreed with this a great deal.
I did.
I think all of you voted for it. I would like to know why in the world anyone would do something like that. don't need people that we have to buy to come in here.
Those who wait around to the end of the board meeting, we will share with you guys more thought. Next we have Lisa De Silva. Is that right? De Silva?
Mitchell's easier.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, that's okay. Just a maiden name. A lot easier. I'm Lisa Mitchell De Silva. I live at 3813 Bethel Road in Brinson, Georgia. Anything else?
That's it. You represent a company? Or you here to sit?
Myself.
Okay.
Myself. I am a two-time resident, so, and this isn't my thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm talking to you today as a devoted two-time resident of Decatur County, deeply concerned about the proposed monkey farm. The recent presentation by Dr. Lisa Jones-Ingalls with PETA brought to light some crucial information. Additionally, the active involvement of Decatur County citizens in researching and sharing information on a newly formed Facebook page highlights the collective effort to educate and prevent the construction of this facility. This grassroots movement is rapidly gaining momentum through local and statewide petitions, and it's attracting worldwide through the Associated Press. Last week's meeting has been in over 200 news articles from Albany to Australia with a viewership of over 600 million. One of my best friends in London even found it on her local news. The world's watching. While I understand the importance of relying on facts, I feel deeply compelled to share my personal perspective on the matter. 5 years ago, I returned to Brinson temporarily to assist my mother, Gloria Mitchell, in rebuilding her small 74-acre timber farm on Bethel Road, which was devastated by Michael. A dedicated educator and proud Bearcat at VHS for 40 years, my fiercely independent mother finally sought my help in preserving her family legacy. In the process, our family, spanning 3 generations, fell in love with our small town, and we collectively decided to make Bainbridge and Brinson our permanent home. Between us, we now own 4 homes that contribute to property taxes, and myself, my husband, son, daughter-in-law, and their 3 children are all active members of the local community and workforce. Our decision to invest heavily in the local economy and actively participate in community life was a very deliberate choice. However, the proposed monkey farm threatens the very essence of why we chose to live here. It feels very disheartening that our efforts to contribute to the growth and prosperity of our town may be jeopardized by one single bad decision. In the memory of my late mother, I firmly believe that the monkey breeding farm would be a blight on our town and county. This is not the legacy she or I wish to leave for future generations. I can only imagine my mother standing here, and anybody that knew her knows how she could be, expressing to you all her disappointment in how this situation has been handled and emphasizing the gross misjudgment you've made by underestimating the citizens of Decatur County. I implore you to reconsider the implications of this facility and its potential impact on our community's well-being. Please let us collectively make an alternative decision that aligns with the values and aspirations we hold dearly for Decatur County. Thank you.
Welcome, Ms. Miller.
I'm Linda Miller. I live at 2180 Pondtown Road, right down from the facility. My concerns are all of the jobs and the money that all the agencies have been saying this will bring to our community is all in the perfect world. If we fill those 263 jobs, if the average employee makes $65 an hour, which I know we all know that's not going to happen, I don't see how they're going to fill 263 jobs when nobody in town can fill jobs. My other concern is if the business folds up and leaves, what do we as a county, a city, all the tax breaks, the land, the cleanup of the land that's going on now, and all the benefits that were given to them, what do they owe us? Is there anything in the contract? I bet they walk away and owe us nothing. We don't know that, though, because that hasn't been shared with us. You also said that, Mr. Chairman, one of your reasons that you voted for it was because it would help, basically, the county employees need more money. I think every employee needs more money. But are you willing to sell our community for something like this at that expense? I live down the road. Should the county and city be responsible for the depreciation of my property? I guarantee you it's going to depreciate. I bet none of y'all, I bet you're glad you don't live where I live. Or any of these people, some of them it's worse, it's in their backyard. It is down the road for me about 1.5 miles. It's not fair for us to take a loss as citizens so you can pay your county workers more. Everyone else in the county, the city, the school system, they profit. The citizens that live near this project lose. And the community as a whole loses if something goes wrong. I worked my whole life. Me and my husband, we're retired. I can't go start over. I can't pick up and go somewhere else. Nobody's going to want to buy my house within 1.5 miles of that facility. Do any of you? I'll put it up right now. If one of y'all wants to buy it, let me know when the meeting's over. If there's an environmental disaster, what happens? Does the company walk off? Who's responsible for cleanup? Or do we have to live with it? Or is there even a possibility for cleanup? Was any of that thought of at the time when y'all agreed to this? You can talk about non-disclosures all you want, but there's certain things we as citizens have a right to know. The NDA, public interest, states in some cases there may be public interest in disclosing certain information, such as illegal activity, public health and safety, or other government transparency. NDAs cannot be used to prevent the disclosure of information that is in public interest. I feel the 5 agencies that met and did this all did it in secrecy, whether there's non-disclosure or no non-disclosure. If you were transparent, you wouldn't have held the meeting on Monday, December 11th at 1 o'clock, and you would have made sure the public was aware.
Wanda Sullivan, is it? Wanda Sullivan?
Let Dr. Miller go, please.
Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes.
I'm Dr. Gordon Miller. I consider it my duty as a citizen and physician to describe my studies for your consideration. Monkeys and humans can transmit infectious diseases to each other because they are both primates. If management gaps occur, risk of infectious contagious diseases can occur. The Associated Press reports that the monkey breeding company, Safe Humane Medicine, is led by executives from 2 other companies, including the Charles River Laboratories, which was investigated last year for bringing monkeys from Cambodia, falsely labeled as bred in captivity. The Charles River facility proposal for a monkey breeding farm in Brazoria County, Texas, has been stalled by opposition from local citizens and officials and their state representatives. If monkeys from Africa and Asia, whole world monkeys, are brought in directly, mosquito borne diseases can spread to the community, including falciparum malaria, yellow fever, and possibly Zika. If raw sewage escapes to the Flint River or local water reservoirs, diseases would include amoebiasis, shigellosis, salmonellosis, which is typhoid fever, and hepatitis A. Working personnel from the community will enter and leave the facility daily, and monkeys have all the same respiratory diseases that humans have, including colds and tuberculosis, but not COVID. From bites and scratches, personnel can contract herpes B virus, which infects 73 to 100% of all monkeys, in which it causes a mild disease, but in human it causes a fatal encephalitis and residual neurologic deficits. Since 1932, 50 people have been infected with herpes B virus, with 21 deaths. In response to failing animal models, the U.S. Congress passed the FDA Modernization Act 2.0, which removes the mandate for preclinical trials in animals before human trials. The CDC says non-human primates, including monkeys, may not be imported as pets under any circumstances. Since 1975, the federal quarantine regulations have restricted importation of non-human primates to the U.S. except for bona fide scientific, educational, or exhibition purposes, and mostly for scientific purposes.
Dr. Sorry, you got 30 seconds, please.
What's that?
30 seconds.
These regulations are in place to protect U.S. residents from severe infections, viral hemorrhagic fever, B virus, mpox, gastrointestinal diseases. If non-human primate importers must register with the CDC, registered importers must maintain CDC approval animal facilities where mandatory quarantine occurs after importation. Importers must make their facilities business records, including employee health records, available to the CDC for inspection and compliance with federal regulation. Citizens.
Doctor, I'm sorry that your time's up.
All right. Citizens and local government use discretion in deciding which answers to allow to the community.
Hey, I did not use all of my time. Let him have it.
Dr. Gordon, you hear the lady? She said if you need more time, she'll give you her time. If you want more time, the lady offer her time. Wanda Sullivan. Welcome, Ms. Sullivan.
My name is Wanda Sullivan. I live at 1012 Lee Street here in Bainbridge. My biggest concern is one infected monkey is all it's going to take to totally ruin this whole city, county. Another concern is all of us citizens of this county, the workers who work the hotels, that work the people that come in to, sorry, I'm a little nervous, but people that come in to want to camp at the campgrounds, our Bass Nation, all of our local businesses. We have been made a laughingstock. There's been so much posted all over about this county. No one's going to want to come and buy from our local businesses, our local farmers, any of that because of all this and the scaredness that they're going to have over all this. When I think about my kids, my grandkids, and all of ours swim in that river, ski in that river, fish in that river. Shoot, my dad and my brother ashes were scattered in that river. The effect of the aquifer and what this can cause if an accident broke out will be detrimental to us and to this county completely. And not just us, but I got Apalachicola. I mean, it goes, the lawsuits. It's going to be a never-ending lawsuits coming from other states. I mean, are we really ready for that? That is my biggest concern for all of this business, and it's just going to be a ripple effect. It's going to just go from here to there to there to there to there, and it's never going to stop until this. And how is the money going to be paid out to all the people that have been affected by this? That's what my whole, there's such thing as a conspiracy in the beginning. I'm glad y'all reiterated tonight, but conspiracy to defraud us citizens in the very beginning of all this, because none of us got these notices that what was happening until we had to hear it all online, and we're all brought together to this point now. But my concern is for the businesses and the health of every single one of us that eat, live, and breathe and drink in this county. Thank you.
Mr. Chad Dollar. Welcome, Mr. Dollar.
Good evening, sir. Right next to Penny and Johnny Reynolds at 1555. Their land borders the proposed location that's already been cleared and stumped, and I live next to them. My property line is 300 feet from Safer Human Medicine's new facility proposed. I spoke to them. Everybody here's done such a good job tonight. I don't need to talk about zoological diseases or ecological impacts or ethical impacts or, the economy or our property values. Everybody's pretty much covered that. I do have a letter here that was written by people in the community and handed to my Aunt Penny to speak. And she's feeling a little hoarse tonight. She asked me if I'd do it. So on behalf of the citizens of Decatur County, I'd like to read this letter that was written. Not by me. Yes. All right. Wildlife trade and disease risk is what's the name of the letter. I stand before you today as a concerned citizen, deeply troubled by the plans to build a primate husbandry facility in our town, particularly in light of the risk associated with the primate wildlife trade and the potential disease threats, specifically focusing on rhesus macaques, or long-tailed macaques, or whatever you want to call them. Proposal to house up to 33,000 of these primates demands our careful consideration not only for the well-being of the animals, but also for the health and safety of our community. The global primate wildlife trade is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. Rhesus macaques in particular have been subjected to this trade, leading to concerns about ethical implications of confining such a large number of these intelligent social animals. As a community, we must question the morality of contributing to an industry that often involves the exploitation and suffering of these beings. Beyond the ethical considerations, we must address the significant risk of disease transmission associated with large-scale primate facilities. Rhesus macaques are known to be potential carriers of zoonotic diseases that can be transmitted to humans, second only to bats. Given the scale of the proposed facility, the potential for disease spillover in our community becomes a critical concern. Recent events worldwide have highlighted the devastating impact of diseases originating from animals, and we must act responsibly to prevent such risk within our own town. I'd also like to add, I was a small child. I was 9, 10 years old when the flood of 94 came through, and I saw with my own eyes that where it's proposed to be was in water, and also in 98. I implore the city government to thoroughly assess the implications of building a facility that aims to house such a vast number of rhesus macaques. It is essential to prioritize the health and safety of our community members, considering the potential risk associated with the disease transmission and the ethical considerations surrounding the primate wildlife trade. Additionally, let us not forget the importance of transparency in this decision-making process. The citizens of our town deserve to be fully informed about the plans, practices, and safeguards that will be implemented to address these potential risks. As responsible stewards of our community, we have the power and the duty to ensure that our actions align with our values. In conclusion of this letter, I got something to say. I urge the city government to reconsider the implications of building a primate husbandry facility of this scale or any scale, taking into account the ethical concerns surrounding the primate wildlife trade and the potential health risk associated with the rhesus macaques. Our town's future should be built on principles of compassion, responsibility, and the well-being of both our community and the animals with whom we share this planet. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'd also like to add, thank y'all for admitting the issues with the initial meeting. I hope y'all continue down the right path. And like, I'm not sure who said it, but that's the grace of God right there. There ain't no other way around that. I hope y'all continue to do the right thing, and I implore you to make sure the city and the development authority and the planning department, all do the same thing. This is our community. The last 10 years, Decatur County Bainbridge has grown. I'm so proud of where I live, more proud than I've ever been. I've lived here my whole life. The downtown area, the Flint River, the bass tournaments, the name that this area has got. I have people, friends from college, and that never lived here, and they know Bainbridge, Georgia now. Nobody ever knew Bainbridge, Georgia. It's something to be proud of, and this is, somebody said a blight, a stain, whatever you want to call it. This would be horrible for our community.
Yes.
All right, I appreciate all of your time. I hope y'all consider everything everyone has said. Do the right thing. Y'all got a chance to do the right thing.
Melinda, sorry.
My name's Melinda Taylor, and I have a business at 231 South Broad Street, so thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm here tonight as a concerned citizen and as a taxpayer here in Decatur County. And I was told by Mr. George, who is a friend and a customer of mine, that if I had a few questions, I could just ask my questions and you would get back with me with some answers, possibly. And so that's what I'm here to do tonight. I just had a few questions, and I just wanted to get your perspective as county commissioners. What is it about this project that made you want to give all of the incentives that you gave this project to locate in Bainbridge? I know it's 200-something jobs, but it's 200-something jobs. And, you know, we are giving them 20 years of tax abatements. We gave them 200 acres of land. Is there a deed? Is there a something on the deed that says if they do go under, does that deed revert back to the development authority, or do they get to keep it? Hopefully it would come back. I see you shaking your. I know I'm not expecting answers, but you know, what is the value of the tap-on fees and the permit fees that were waived? You know, for this company. What's the cost of the infrastructure that's being run from the property line to their facility that's on their property? You know, typically we run infrastructure to the property owner's line, but it's their responsibility to run their own infrastructure. In this instance, we're running infrastructure to their facility. What is at the community's expense? What is the cost of that? Is the project being charged a bond fee, or is that being waived? What's the financial assistance that's being provided by the community? Is there a performance period for the committed job creation? Meaning, if there aren't jobs created during a certain specific period of time, do they have to pay back any of those tax abatements that we're giving them? And on the tax abatement, something that has been touched on earlier, you know, the best indicator of future performance is relevant past performance or past behavior. We've got some pretty bad actors at the top of this company.
Amen.
And, you know, if you think about it, and what I've heard is, and I don't know this for sure, I could be wrong, but what I've heard is all of the boards that voted on this, and sure, you guys backtracked a little bit tonight, but you all voted unanimously on this project. Not just you, but the school board, I mean, you know, the city council, the development authority, everybody voted unanimously on this. And I heard that the development authority director, Rick McCaskill, said that he wasn't aware of the litigation that was involved with the top members of this organization. Well, why wasn't he?
Amen.
Isn't it his job to know that? You guys voted unanimously to bring a company in with bad actors at the head of it. Unanimously. Why? I don't understand that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And I'm actually on the fence about the monkey husbandry. I mean, if it's done right, it could be an okay project for Decatur County. I'm just saying, I'm still on the fence about it. I just feel like the way it was handled, you guys, it could be done, it could have been done completely different. I just have a lot of questions, and I do appreciate the time that you've given me to address the commission tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Larry Funderburk.
Larry Funderburk. I live at 206 Flint River Heights Road, Baton, Georgia. Pete, what I had to say, I'm going to hold them reserved. If you're retiring, I'm going to keep my words to myself. But if you're not, don't come back putting no sign in my yard again.
Mr. Bubba Stone, I'm sorry. Bubba Stone.
Well, Pete, you're lucky. They've already asked you a lot of my questions. Can you hear me now? Good evening, sirs. Thank you for allowing me to address the commissioners, some of which I know well, some when you were younger. The commissioners of Decatur County serve at the pleasure of the people in this room in the county. I think that's evident by the number of people. And we did not elect y'all to serve to certain entities. And again, all this has been said, but I know you all, and I just can't imagine how, as a group, with disclosure, and I've seen non-disclosures that required a yes vote by this entire group. Hard to imagine. Putting Bainbridge in Decatur County on the map, we've all heard, as a high priority. Well, sirs, you've done it, but not in a positive way. As they said, we are local, state, national, international. And you get calls, and their first question, what? It's about the monkeys. And it's happening every day to people here. Pretty much myself and a lot of people are embarrassed by what has transpired here. I do thank you for your change of direction, but the county, city, development authority, through those actions, I feel, have constituents wondering, where's the purpose? What's the reason? Are they worried about our safety, our health, the truth, transparency, or the law? And I hope later that you will prove us all wrong with what we've not been able to see. We won't go into the Open Act, Meeting Act. You've already, I'm sure, in y'all's orientation, and you know all the rules on that. But how, I ask the question, without vetting, unless you can prove with your documentation, you could go forward with this project, this magnitude, that quickly. Were there any trips taken to Texas? The state of Florida has disallowed this to happen there. Were there meetings? Maybe we should get in the car, airplane, whatever, let's go see what these people are. Prove me wrong. I hope you can. I think we'll all be better served. But one thing, and I will talk on this and I'll let you go. There has been a validation case. This is the money, you're aware of it. Was filed in court by our elected district attorney on behalf of the state and naming our development authority as a party. And when one of our citizens actually showed up, I think it was December the 23rd, two days before Christmas, that this was advertised. To object, another elected official, judge, told him, nope, that time's over. There's no discussion. We're only here to vote. And so, as far as the court case, PETA Legal Review has discovered errors, misrepresentations in this bond issue. And we're not talking $10 million, 20. I urge the commission to work with the development authority to appeal this order. We're in a pause. This needs to be the appeal. This is the go-to. This is the money. And if that can't be done, they need to go back, revisit, and take this money out of play. Without the money, there is no action. Or as they say, follow the money. And there may be other areas the district attorney can look at. We don't know that. It was funny, I was looking through Project Liberty.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, all right, Pete. We'll do this, let's go on to something bigger. As far as the city, we all know the city was involved, is involved, and they will also be questioned through discovery for their records. And I only hope that through a conjunction of the city and the county that y'all will all reserve your votes and take this thing off the table.
Delana Williams.
Good evening, Delana Williams. Like Commissioner Anderson, I'm from Attapulgis on Fowlestown Road. Our county's development authority, on their mission statement on their website, it quotes, just to paraphrase, to ensure leadership and improving the overall quality of life in Decatur County. The purpose, to again paraphrase, is to ensure that there is always an active, coordinated, and focused effort to attract desirable businesses to the Bainbridge and Decatur County area. It's also interesting, if you don't have a lot to do and peruse websites, the Safer Human Medicine's letter is on the Development Authority's website, all capital red font to hear their response. It's almost as though they are on their side, like, but their letter is sort of a rebuttal to PETA's letter, but PETA's letter doesn't have a link. My mother raised me, and she always said there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. Well, let's post PETA's letter. Let Decatur County know both sides of the story. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davis Family. Welcome, Mr. Sandlin.
Yes, sir, Ms. Stevens. I'm David Sandlin. I live at 1211 Lake Drive, Famous, Georgia, about 1.2 miles from this proposed site. Gentlemen, I want to read a letter to you tonight that, you know, when you get older and retired, you got time to kill. So I got up for the night and wrote a letter. It's awfully disturbing. And, Mr. Stone just mentioned this about the city council. I mean, the city of Bainbridge not having anything to do with this. He says, except, he said, except giving the rebate for the tax. Well, no, he doesn't. He's involved. So he is. So I made this letter to the mayor and the city council and the Decatur County Board of Education. I lived in Decatur County my entire life. I'm 76 years of age and retired. I worked for a manufacturing company for 34 years that manufactured equipment for processing products for human consumption. The monkey farm that is proposed by the city and county officials is very alarming, as it's already been stated, for our citizens in surrounding counties. The time that this company made contact with you guys, city and county officials learned the scope of the project, what would be involved, the housing of 30,000 monkeys, should have been revealed in true, full transparency with the citizens of this county. And if you couldn't do that, don't mess with it. There's plenty of other industries that could come in. If the people was not for it, you should have not been for it. In my working career, I had numerous customers that put food processing facilities in industrial parks all over the United States. Let me explain that. I was in charge of the almond pistachio operation for my company, and I've done a lot of work in, and most of my work in Australia, California, most of it in California. What we would do in these industrial parks, they would buy almonds, pistachios from a producer, and they would take them, put them in a facility in these industrial parks, and then they would sell to bakeries all over the United States. And several of my customers had contracts with M&M Mars and Hershey Chocolate. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you, do you think that in this industrial park, there would be any food grade manufacturing company would want to be next to a $30,000 maker for a monkey farm? No. And furthermore than that, if y'all allow this to happen, and you don't push that cause button, like we hope y'all will, we know you will never have an industrial park. Now, all the money that has been established or put from the state of Georgia to put this industrial park, it'll be down the tubes. It'll no longer exist. You will never be able to get anyone to go in there. Because of monkeys transmitting diseases, flies, etc., lend itself to urine and feces. No matter the level of sanitation implemented, then it goes into our soil, drinking water, into our wonderful Flint River. It sponsors several major bass tournaments, bringing in hundreds and thousands of dollars to our city and county each year. They will leave and find other bodies of water to hold their tournaments. Land values would be decimated. You officials are elected to be good stewards for this community, county, and state. All of you are in question. I'm telling the gentleman the other day, would not it be nice if the officials make a trip to Seattle meet with Amazon or other companies to have distribution centers, since we're located in the southwest corner of Georgia, which borders Alabama and Florida, a perfect corridor for distribution or other businesses. I read and find out things about this company and principles that our officials are working with are the people you would not want on your Christmas card list. And there's a background of these people having lived or worked in China for extended periods of time. China's main goal is to destroy America and our way of life. Amen. China has made a statement, if you've ever done any reading, they're not going to destroy us with bombs, $100,000 bombs. They're going to do it with German warfare. What is the most perfect place to put a monkey farm and have a monkey infected when they give the world to infect us with infectious? They can do it without dropping one bomb on us. And I'll tell you what, gentlemen, you guys sitting around this committee, if this was traced back, it comes in from China money. That's the way they do it. They go to foreign companies in foreign countries, they get people and bring them in, and they use them. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all giving me this time.
Jan Jones. Welcome, Ms. Jones.
Hello, my name is Jan Jones. I live at 4172 Thomasville Road, Climax. Like most everybody else here, I oppose the monkey breeding facility project for many reasons. In particular, I'm concerned by the short period of time Decatur County leaders took before approving a project of this magnitude, the risks this facility will bring to our community outweighing the supposed benefits, and the huge cost this project will bring to Decatur County at taxpayers' expense. Additionally, I'm very concerned with some of the language being used to justify this project. After last Tuesday's City Council meeting, WALB aired an interview Mr. Rick McCaskill gave, in which he said, "We got more cows in the county than we got people to, and we got more chickens in the county than we got people to, so you got to kind of take a deep breath and look through all the misinformation." Since that airing, Mr. McCaskill's quote has traveled pretty far, as has already been said. It's appeared in a Washington Post article. It's appeared in a UK-based newspaper article. I'm sure it's probably appeared in the Australian article, but I haven't read that one yet. First, let's clear up some of that misinformation. Part of Mr. McCaskill's statement is true. There are more chickens here than there are people. However, according to the most recent census for agriculture in Decatur County, the total number for cows and calves was 12,837, which is much less than half of our population. Along with the clear misinformation in Mr. McCaskill's statement, I'm insulted by his implication that beef, dairy, and poultry farmers are on the same level as Safer Human Medicine and their breeding of animals. I understand the phrase monkey farm rolls off the tongue a lot easier than primate breeding facility, but words matter, gentlemen. And farms, real farms, have been what has supported Decatur County for generations, not big corporate industries who get millions of dollars and decades of tax abatements to entice them to come here. As many of you on this board are also farmers and serve on agricultural boards, you're all too aware that agriculture in general, and Georgia agriculture in particular, has plenty of challenges to face already without us casting our lot in with the animal breeding for research industry. I encourage you all to remember that the words you use to explain your decision to bring a primate breeding facility here carry weight, and they will travel. Don't jeopardize my industry trying to justify theirs.
Amen. Welcome, Jerry.
I'm Jerry Jones, lifetime resident of Decatur County, lived here all my life, work on the farm, pay taxes. I had a letter wrote up. It's pretty much been covered. But my thing, y'all don't need to give everything away to the expense of this facility and what it means. I'm not a person to give a big speech, or I'm not a political activist. I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. And when I hear that some of these board members that say, well, we can do what we want to, we don't have to listen to the citizens of Decatur County. That's not right. And I understand secrecy, but this thing was kept too secretive. It should have been brought to light long before it was. I didn't need to read about it in the paper. I mean, if it had been a business, that would be one thing, but the nature of this is not good for the county. It's not financially stable for the county, and it's not the animal welfare is one thing, but financial stability of this is not good either. And I've known about every one of y'all for probably 40 plus years, and I think y'all probably know me about as well as I know y'all. And I'm not one to get up and complain, but when people step on my toes, it's time to say something. I feel like my toes has been stepped on.
Amen.
Is it 2 Jill Jones?
This is Jill.
I'm Jan, that's Jill.
Okay.
My name is Jill Jones. I live at 4160 Thomasville Road, Climax, Georgia. I appreciate your comments opening up. I'm glad that y'all have done some backtracking and realized that the way all this has been handled was wrong. So my notes are going to need to change a little bit. But I can tell you, I think all of you, not just this county commission board, the city council, the Board of Tax Assessors, the Board of Education, and the infamous Development Authority, I hope every one of the people that serve on those boards, and some of you are elected, and some of them are appointed by you. Now, the city and the mayor the other night, now the mayor, he wanted to distance himself from this thing. Oh, this was a development project. Well, I think that website says it's the Bainbridge Decatur County Development Authority. And I think both the city council and the county commission have input into the people who serve on that development authority. And I certainly don't want to misquote anything. And Jan was exactly right when she said words matter. And I don't want to put any words in the mouth of Mr. Stevens, but I think I heard you say in your opening comments that it's the responsibility of the Development Authority to do the vetting of the companies that they bring in. I think I heard that. Now, if that's the case, I think the Development Authority has some answers that they need to be providing. And you all, as the people who oversee them, you need to inspect what you expect. I was and I can tell you, if anybody had done even a minimal level of research into the background of these people, surely you would have identified that this Safer Human Medicine, their leadership, the Jim Hartness and all of those individuals, they have been associated with other breeding facilities. They are under criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. Now, we are supposed to believe that these same executive management people that's going to be running Safer Human Medicine, they're going to do everything by the book. I don't want to misquote Rick McCaskill, but he was quoted as saying that he's got confidence that Safer Human Medicine is going to do everything by the book, squeaky clean. These managers have decades of experience running their breeding and testing facilities that have not even met the most basic animal welfare standards. And as far as the open letter to the community that's posted on the Development Authority website, that is an insult to our intelligence. They describe their operations more like a monkey sanctuary than a breeding facility. And for Jim Harkness to say he's going to provide 30,000 monkeys, each with a toy and playtime, is absurd. Especially considering the fact that the flooring and caging at his Envigo facility entrapped animals' feet, and gaps allowed newborn puppies to fall into the drains during the time he was the chief operating officer at that facility. All of those violations resulted in a Department of Justice obtaining a search warrant. They went in there, they found 4,000 dogs in imminent danger, and the Justice Department shut that facility down. These are just a few of the operational practices that are far from squeaky clean. And they are very well documented in publicly available USDA inspection reports from November 2021. I hope you will look them up and read them for yourself. Surely, this is not the kind of business and industry that you want your children and your grandchildren to aspire to work. Y'all put Bainbridge on the map, and people are watching and they're listening. We have made the news locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally. Sadly, it is nothing for Decatur County to be proud of.
Yarborough.
I'm Butch Yarborough, and I live just north of West Bainbridge, off the Pinetown Road. We farm and own property there. I'm proud Mr. Curbo found y'all out.
There you go.
I'm looking at you, Bobby Dog. We help you get up there. And you do something stupid like this? Stupid. Keith, I'm going to give you a break. You didn't know the background of the thing, I don't think. It all got run by. Steve, you're another. And Rusty's a personal friend forever. And I know he'll do the right thing. But I'm glad Bruce found y'all out. We've always bragged on y'all the way you handled your business. Everybody knew what was going on. It was above board. And now y'all done fell right in him with the city of Bainbridge. Rick McCaskill needs to be fired. Y'all know that. Anybody that did not know the background on this project should be fired. Bruce found y'all an outlet. I know before y'all gonna do the right thing, so we can be proud of you again. It ain't too late, Pete. It's not too late. You too, Rusty. Thank you.
I think that's right. Hey, Jenny.
I didn't have a speech, but I made some notes because I didn't really come to speak tonight. But,
Name and address, please.
sorry?
Name and address.
I'm sorry, Jim Fairclough, 214 Riverview Drive, Bainbridge. I honestly want to start off by saying how much I have appreciated in the past the respect that was shown to me from this whole board. And I will see y'all in April again to present again to you guys if we all, or y'all all, still have a job too. Tonight, I come for you, and I don't know where to put it, but I come tonight mad as hell. Because as a business owner in this town, I see investors. I work with everybody downtown. We've been so proud of this, everything that's happening with our city, and just trying to bring people in. My latest investors are now, and one of them spoke today, they're ready to pull out. They said if they had known this is not what they bought into. And they do not want their money tied up with this type of a reputation. And that makes me sick because I'm a big part of drawing these people in, so I take that personally. Also, I've worked, of course, as we all know the type of work that I do, I worked 170 catastrophic claims for Hurricane Michael, all the way from ground zero in Mexico Beach, all the way here and in further counties and states. And this whole shenanigans about, or the whole structural issue, I guess, of this monkey farm concerns me, because we see all these and we hear all these stories about that they'll be able to, have these screened cages, and these animals will be able to be outdoors, and they'll have this and that. But I've never seen, or if you saw the entangled mess that we had after Hurricane Michael, I don't think that any of the structures that I've seen pictures of or wanted to be sturdy enough to contain them. We're going to have monkeys from here to 2 more states, because I just don't think they're going to hold up. And I'm hoping and praying that there's been a lot of studies on this. I'll be very interested in seeing what the structural integrity looks like, not just the fact that they've got open spaces. As a community servant, I do so much, I'll try to, for this community. I've tried to give back, because we have our grief support groups. I try to help with organ donation education, and we've just got such a great, warm community that loves each other. And then now look at this. There's been nothing but just conflict. There's a lot of fighting going on, and rightfully so. This is our river. This is our town, all of ours, and I'm very upset about it. We have contributed with our grief support group, to the new Chasen Park, which is gorgeous. We've waited for several years to even find a place to put our fountain, and the city worked with us on that till we found one that I was satisfied with, because at the base of that fountain lies the bricks with the name of our children that have died. And we put that downtown Bainbridge, along that river. I am probably more about that river than I am anything that we're discussing, because not only do I work in town, but I also live on that river. I built my house 30 years ago, and in 1993 I lost my husband. I built that house in 1994. As I was barely moved in, I watched the river run through the middle of it, which is another concern with this facility, because it was underwater at the time, and if that water comes through it, that water doesn't just flow gently through there, it comes down like a wall. And that was just as devastating to the land, to all the structures, to my house and everybody else's. We had our homes washed into the river. And I just don't know if, like I said, if that structural integrity is going to hold up when you get, if that should happen again, and God forbid it does. But I really just wanted to be able to stand here, like I said, as a homeowner, as a business owner, and as a community servant, to implore you to really take a strong look at this. I am so glad that everything was rescinded earlier, because, like I said, y'all got a heck of a fight on your hands from all of us. Thank y'all very much.
Come on down, the price is right here.
How are y'all doing?
Yeah.
My name is
How
Jamie
is it right now?
Chestnut. My name is Jamie Chestnut. I live at 1956 Pond Town Road. I know several of y'all, school, church, town, different things. I've never been so disappointed in people I know as I was. This is something serious. I do not believe, I know you have your transparency, your REO, which y'all had to sign, a confidentiality. But why was this county not given the option to vote this in or vote it out? And we should have the option to do that if y'all carry this further, which I hope you don't. Y'all eat fish out of the river. I don't care how clean you go at these waste treatment plants. There is always something gonna leak out. Always. They always have accidents. And then it goes into the river. Then it goes down to Apalachicola. I know most of y'all, you like mullet, you like shrimp, and you like oysters. This just ain't about Bainbridge in Decatur County. Do we need the money? Yeah, the county needs the money. I agree with that. Well, let's find a different way. Let's find distribution centers for tires, for anything. Other than I live a mile or less down the road from where this thing. I'm gonna smell these monkeys. I don't want to smell monkeys. And I know y'all don't either. Rusty has a farm. He's got to work that farm. Rusty, that's gonna stink. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Somebody in the back turned the light back on. We're thinking.
I mean, Steve, would you want this on your side of the county? Think about it. Just think about it. No. Bobby, would you want that out on Spring Creek Road or out of Pugas? We don't want this in this county, and we don't need it in this county. Please find some other way. Please. Y'all have a good day.
I want to thank everybody for stepping forward and voicing your opinion. We value those highly, and we hear you loud and clear. I said earlier that I don't like the way things have to be done. If somebody would come up with a way that we can do differently, legally, I'm all ears.
Vote no.
No question. One-on-one, I'm available anytime. My phone number is 229-221-1500. Feel free to call me at any time. We'll speak?
Yes, sir.
We're going to have one more, then we're going to pay it off.
Thank you so much for having me.
Name and address.
My name is Vina Merritt. I reside at 3870 Town Road in Attapulgis. And first of all, thank you for having me, County Commissioner members. I'm here today with a heavy heart, frustrated heart, compelled to express my deep disapproval of the decision to allow a monkey breeding facility to set roots in our beloved town. Bainbridge has always been known for its warmth, compassion, and commitment to ethical practices, but this decision threatens the very fabric of our community. I saw this town progressing into something big, something to point at the map and say I lived here. This monkey breeding is an all-time low. Money is one heck of a drug. My generation and younger, who are the heartbeat of our town's future, are raising our voices against animal cruelty, advocating for a world where every living being is treated with respect and dignity. We are steering away from products and practices that contribute to harm, embracing cruelty-free alternatives in our daily lives. How can you, in good conscience, follow a facility that breeds monkeys for science labs, where the specter of cruelty looms large to take root in our community? The trend is clear. The younger generation will not stand for animal exploitation. We have made it clear that we value compassion, ethical treatment, and sustainability. Bainbridge has an opportunity to be a beacon of progress, a place where future leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators chose to make their home. But this decision to bring a monkey breeding facility jeopardizes that vision. In a world where conversations about compassion extend to issues like abortion, it's ironic that we are willing to embrace the breeding of monkeys for science experimentation in industries where lives are brought into existence only to be subjected to the harsh reality of laboratories. We must question the inconsistency of a society that claims compassion while simultaneously endorsing practices that involve the breeding of a sentient being like us for the sole purpose of experimentation and ultimately their demise. Our town's reputation is at stake. The decision to allow a monkey breeding facility not only contradicts the values we hold dear, but also sends a clear message to the younger generation. A message that we say we are not willing to compromise our principles for the sake of economic gain. Let us not forget that the future of Bainbridge lies in the hands of the youth. No young person would choose to stay or return to a place that turns a blind eye to the ethical treatment of animals. It is today that we have, where am I? Choked up, y'all. It is time for us to reflect on the legacy we want to leave behind and consider the impact our decisions today will have on the generations to come. I implore the County Commission to reconsider this decision, as concrete as it may seem, to listen to the voices of our youth who are demanding a future built on compassion, empathy, ethical responsibility. Let us be a town that stands united against cruelty, that embraces progress without compromising our very core values. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank everybody for being polite, for being gentlemen and ladies. And, I hate that a board like this has to have a disaster like this to get you involved. Saying that, this is the first time that we have had this room full since I've been a commissioner.
Well, we thought we could trust you.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm trying to be polite, and I'd like for you to be polite. Now, if you have something to say it nicely. You don't have to scream. I don't understand. If you would, I'd like for you to stay for the rest of the meeting and hear the commissioner's remarks at the end. So that way you will know what's going on in your county. We're going to move forward to the minutes now. We have our minutes from January the 9th, 2024. Do you hear a motion to approve those minutes? Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye, please. Thank you much. Under old business, there is none. Under new business, we have the audit by Mr. Ben Lee. Ben?
You ready to change the subject? Well, I'm here tonight to give you an opinion, but it's a different opinion. I'm here to present the audit report to you. And first, let me explain exactly what a financial statement audit is. It is an examination to determine if the financial statements are fairly presented, which means they're not materially, that they are materially
Turn the mic
correct.
up a little bit.
So, it's not a fraud investigation. It's not a witch hunt. It's determining whether or not the financial statements that you present to the public and to the auditor are fairly stated. An auditor provides an opinion on that. You can have an unmodified opinion or a modified opinion. If it's a modified opinion, then there was a material correction that had to be made. So, but I'm here tonight to tell you that you have an unmodified opinion. And again, you've had a great year of stewardship of the taxpayers' money. If you remember several years ago, the net position of the county had been drained immensely. And fortunately, the commissioners at that time had the wise knowledge to hire Alan Thomas as the administrator. Now, I started my career out of college in government. My first job out of college was with the what is now called Regional Development Center. I became the assistant executive director of that, and I had associations and with plenty of administrators, city administrators, county administrators, elected officials that throughout the state of Georgia. I will tell you that, to my knowledge, you got the best financial manager anybody that I've been confronted with or been associated with. And the numbers tell the story. As I've told you every year, we need to build back your net position of the county. And that has been going on for several years. And this year, your net position increased by $8.6 million to bring your net position up to $91 million and some change. Now, that's not all cash money. $54 million of that is in capital assets, which is not money that you can spend unless you dispose or sell those assets. Now, it's been a tremendous job of y'all to be able to have built this up to this number. Now, and as I tell you every year, that number's got to grow, continue to grow. It has to keep up with inflation. It has to keep up with the needs of the citizens and the services that have to be provided. So we can't stop making sure that the money is wisely spent. And that's what you've done this year and several other years since I've been associated with you. And you have a good staff. They're all conscientious. They do a good job in the whole financial department. And so basically I'll end with just tell you the old saying, if it's working, don't fix it. So, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks, man.
We appreciate your business.
We appreciate you doing a good job for us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. You need to vote to accept this order. Thank you again, Ben. Next, have a consider memorandum of understanding for BS Solar Farm LLC. Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Chairman, this for a solar project, and it's stated that we anticipate building a 130 megawatt facility with a total amount.
Again, the speaker.
And a total amount of $130 million, and with it being a 130 megawatt facility, then that allows it under agreement that the board has made previously of a 10-year 50% abatement. But in this memorandum of understanding, it goes on to point out if it is a 200 megawatt or above system, then they are entitled to the 60% for 16 years. But again, at this point, the understanding is
We can't hear you.
it is a $130 million project for 130 megawatt system.
All right. First of all, let's get a motion just for the project.
Mr. Chairman, since the gentleman in the back had difficulty hearing me and my mic seems like it's roaring when I get closer, maybe you may want to repeat it.
It does not qualify for the 6% break, the 130. It's 130 watt?
50% break,
Right.
10 years.
All right. This is a $130 million project. They get a 50% break on taxes for the amount of watts it's going to produce. Anybody hear that? All right. The board had voted in years past that that they'd be staggered depending on what the wattage is. Anything less than 100 watts would be 100% tax. From 100 to 150, no, from 100 to 200, it'd be 50%, and anything above 250 watts would be 6%. So,
what do we get out of these solar plants? I mean, they're everywhere, but what do we get as a county or as citizens from them?
sir, we're in a meeting right now. This is county business, and we will answer questions one-on-one afterwards if you like. I'll be more than happy to stay around and answer your question. We're now taking care of county business. We had a motion to approve this. Is there a second? Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank myself for voting for y'all, this ain't right. What? Abstain from voting because of the conflict of interest.
Everybody hear that?
No.
Russ is going to excuse himself from voting because of conflict of interest.
This is not right.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And all in favor say aye. Aye. Next, I'll consider approval of areas and waste report. Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Chairman, that document is in your packet as well. It has been signed off by the tax commissioner, Mr. Mark Harrell, and also Mr. Jackson Kendrick, who is the Board of Assessors Chairman. And based on that, with their recommendation and their signatures in the document, I would recommend that for approval by the board.
Everybody here?
Y'all don't want to listen? No, we didn't.
We've had a motion to approve the areas and waste report. Do I hear a motion to do so? Is there a second? Any discussion? Not all in favor say aye, please. Thank you much. Now we go to the commissioner's remarks. We'll start with Commissioner Anderson.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Appreciate your input. We welcome your input, and thank you for coming out. Come again. Don't be a stranger. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming out. We appreciate y'all's input. I'm available for comment after or
questions one-on-one afterwards, or give me a call during the next week. I appreciate y'all's input. Thank y'all for coming.
Good.
Thank y'all for coming, and just like Robbie, I'm available just one-on-one or call me on the phone and we'll talk about it. Thank y'all.
I want to thank everybody for coming, and your concerns are my concerns.
Well, you've had a change of heart.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Thank everybody for the phone calls that you previously called me on, and we welcome your input. And again, thank you for coming out.
Hey, can we get you to post y'all's personal numbers on your website where we can call them? Most people's not writing them down.
They're on there.
They're already there.
They're already there.
Personal numbers?
Again, I seldom use the county phone, and again, my phone number is 229-221-1500. Feel free to call me anytime. Again, I appreciate you guys being here more than just to hear you. I appreciate you being involved in things that's going on, and we ask you to become more involved. We would ask that of everybody here. Now I see you shaking your head no. Believe it or not, I'm asking you to become involved. We don't have all the answers. If we had all the answers, we wouldn't have voted like we voted. If we knew everything we had to know now, what we know now, it'd have been a different thing completely. But whatever decision you make, excuse me, please. Whatever decision we make on the best information we have before us today. And as my 96-year-old mother-in-law said, I don't care how thin the pancake, there's two sides. With that,
Research. You did not do the research.
the what?
Research.
Jim, you and I had a conversation. I told you at that time, if you had anything to say to me, say it to my face. Anytime after this meeting, I'll be glad to address you. That and afterward, motion to adjourn.
I got something to say to you.
Second.
Are you really
All in favor, aye? Thank you, buddy.
office over to your
I'm going to say something to your face, too.
My name. My Lord.